Welcome to this week's episode. I'm your host Elizabeth Vine, and you're watching A.C.E News number 58. This week's Valentine's Day, so make sure to get your Valentine grams before Wednesday. Now, let's get into some announcements.
This week's trivia question with Ethan Barnett. How many Valentine's cards are sent out each year? 1 billion, 2 billion, or 10 billion? If she said 1 billion, you're correct. Fun fact, most of those cards are sent to teachers. Here's some clips of last week's lock-in.
Oh my!
You have to use your kids.
Could be yours tonight.
Yeah, I'll finally look into it.
Hey, that's my mom.
Hey guys, this is Jalen, and this week's Did You Know that February is Black History Month?
February marks the start of Black History Month, and here at ACE Charter, we want to spread awareness and celebrate those in history who have paved the way as exemplars of people in our history. To do this, I have Mr. Clausey here who would like to share out someone he held close to in the past and idolized growing up. Mr. Clausey.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Hey, everybody. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the most influential sports athlete of all time. You may know him as the greatest, and that's Muhammad Ali. You may think he's the greatest because of the amount of matches that he's won and how great of a fighter he was, but let me tell you why I think he is the greatest. He did begin training when he was 12 years old. At 18, won his first gold medal at the Rome Olympics in 1960. In 1961, he converted to the Islam religion just before he became a professional boxer. At age of 22, in 1964, he won the heavyweight fight, beating Sonny Liston. Then he considered the name Cassius Clay shortly thereafter the win as a slave name, and he changed his name to Muhammad Ali. He was an example of racial pride for African Americans during the Civil Rights Movement. In 1966, he refused to be drafted in the military, citing religious beliefs and opposition to the American involvement in the Vietnam War. He was arrested, stripped of his boxing titles, lost 4 years of his career as he appealed this decision, and in 1971 the decision was actually overturned. Titles were given back to him, but he lost 4 of probably the best years of his boxing career. And so he did go on to win over 20 matches. I think he fought about 14 unified title fights afterwards, winning all of them. We do know him as one of the greatest boxers of all time, if not the greatest. But what he did prior to his boxing career, which we most notoriously know about, is what I think makes him the greatest. And so I think that people in society today have a lot to learn from sports figures like Muhammad Ali and the way that he conducted himself and what he stood for at that time in America. So that's why I think he's really considered the greatest of all time.
Wow, thanks Mr. Clausey. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, given that today it is such a hot topic. What do you think of the governor of Virginia and the issue he's been having of photos that surfaced of him dressing as a black man next to a KKK person, and how he referred to himself as a coon man in a yearbook posting that surfaced from his college years?
Well, Elizabeth, good question. Plain and simply, I think he should resign. I do believe that a person has the ability to change. However, someone in a leadership role who has held those ideals in their early years cannot accurately nor adequately represent all of the people in the state of Virginia if they don't think that everyone is equal. He also sets a horrible example for the students at the school. It lets people think that they can say words that hurt other people or dress accordingly to mock and disrespect others. You should never refer to yourself as a coon man, nor use any other hateful words like the N-word, regardless to how it's spelled or who is saying it. that governor should resign, which would set an example for the rest of this country to see that kind of behavior is not tolerated. ACE is no place for hate, and those words and actions have no place here or at any school, I can assure you that.
Thanks, Mr. Clausy. Well, guys, here you have it. The first of many reports and updates this week that will be brought to you by ACE News. Look for more highlights and lessons on prominent black figures in history and literature in your classes this month. Thanks. Hi, welcome to our origami segment.
Today we're gonna make roses and hearts because this is the week of Valentine's Day. Now we're gonna make roses.
First, you're going to start with a square, and then you fold one side like this. You do the other side, and then you fold it in half and half again. Then, what you do is you see these two triangles, you kind of just put it like that. And then what you're going to do on one side, you're going to do it on the other side. So you just get this corner all the way to the top here. You do the same with this side. You fold both of them in half. And then what you want to see are little squares on both sides. So what I just did is I opened it up. I opened the flap in here. And then I just press it down, and I get two squares. I'm going to do the same on the back. Alright, once you are done with both of them, now you're going to fold the triangle over, and you're going to, so you just pick it up to the bottom, I guess, and you see these two right here. So all you have to do is kind of put your finger in there and press it down, and you get triangles. So you're going to do the same with this side. Right. Once you get this, you flip it over, and you pick up the middle part right here, and you grab one of these sides and you pull it over like that. And then you do the same, not for the one next to it, but the one right across. You go like that. Once you get this thing that kind of looks like an orange squeezer, you put it in your hand, and you kind of just drag it on one side. And that's kind of what the flower looks like. That's it. That's the end of this week's episode. Make sure to have a groovy rest of your week, and thanks for watching ACE News.
So this Friday the 15th, we're going to have our first meeting of the Bible Club.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shaking already. It's
Guys,
Boy, you gotta move with your arm, dude.
The stars changing the world to be
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Start rolling, start rolling.
So Gio basically almost died but didn't. I don't know why. New Spider-Man of Ace. This is my homie Jerome. I'm gonna say bye now.